Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host, with Lammy Chillmeister, my co-host. Today is September 3rd, 2024. As far as an update, not much has been going on, just been working. Yesterday was a pretty tough day, man. We didn't get all our stuff done, so we're going to have to do it tonight. Just been having trouble with that same coworker, just fucking drama. He's nosy, gossips, you know. I see trouble around the corner with him. I hope not, but, you know. I actually slept in pretty late today, hence why it's kind of darker. Yeah, I guess I just needed it. But I hope you all are doing well. Let me start off by saying this, because I try to give shout outs to all my new subs. I got quite a few new subs, but it only notified me for a Ben Martin. So, Ben Martin, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Please share to any friends who like conspiracy, or any friends or family who likes conspiracy, who might like this content. So please share, because I've been shadow banned, and yeah. The only thing that I ask is everyone's accepted here. Any sexuality, any race, any religion, any spiritual path, any political affiliation, left or right or center. The only thing that I ask is just be cool in the comment sections to other people, be cool to me, and that's about it. It's pretty simple. Gabba gabba, we accept you're one of us. So let's do today's gonna be kind of a political episode. So let's get into some politics. I always try to give the disclaimer of, look, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who are very black-pilled, and they're like, look, politics is all rigged. It's a uniparty. I can agree with you on that. It is a uniparty. I do believe that a lot of it is rigged. Elections are stolen, things like that. But there's certain things with conspiracy that you have to pay attention to. For one, the news, media, politics, and true crime. And there's a lot of conspiracy theorists who are against those three things and won't consume them at all. And it's like, well, they show you their hand on what they're doing, so you kind of have to pay attention to it. That, and you're missing puzzle pieces if you're not paying attention to those three things. That being said, today's going to be a political episode. I might just end up talking about just this one subject. If I have more time, I'll talk about other stuff too. So just stay tuned. So Trump used to be against marijuana. There's this famous quote he did years ago where he said, when he was asked about marijuana, and I think he was actually president at the time, if he would legalize marijuana, or if he was pro or against marijuana, he said, yeah, I'm against marijuana, and anyone who smokes marijuana is not a very good person. So this pissed a lot of people off, me included. I have always been an advocate for marijuana. During my high school years, I used to be a straight up stoner. I was smoking weed every day, if not every other day, until I started feeling like I was going a little kooky, because I have a lot of mental issues and mental illness, and it really started kicking in during my high school years. And a lot of people don't know this, but you know, marijuana, like I said, I'm pro marijuana, but it does have negative side effects too, like any other drug. And if you have schizophrenia or mental illness, and any form of mental illness, it can actually amplify it and make it worse. I believe I was kind of slipping into psychosis during that time period. I was just getting way too fucking high, and it was, yeah, just a fact. I was just going crazy. I felt like I was going insane. I was having crazy ideas, crazy philosophies, which it was not a good time period in my life. Honestly, I feel like I should have probably been put on like medication or at least therapy, something during that time period. My parents were getting a divorce. We were couch surfing a little bit until we got our own apartment. We stayed like a week with my brother. I was breaking up with a girl at the time. Like, it was just a bad time in my life. I was experimenting with cough medicine, which is not fucking good. Like, don't ever do that shit. It can ruin your life. It turned me into a demon. But it pissed off a lot of people when he said that people who smoke marijuana are not good people. Because it's like, for one, it's the most harmless drug compared to any other fucking drug out there. Like, and as someone who is an alcoholic, you know, yeah, like it's better and safer than alcohol. It's better and safer than this stupid shit, cigarettes. It just is what it is. There's like old Bill Hicks jokes about weed versus alcohol. Like, go check out his comedy. He's my favorite comedian. But he had a joke that was like, you go to a concert or you go to a ball game and there's a fight. I can tell you this, he would say, like, it's probably involving alcohol. Somebody, like, people fist fight when they get drunk. He said, but it's never involving weed. And he said, you know why? Because it's impossible to fight on weed. And he said, like, one guy might get mad and he would go, by the way, I'm butchering this joke, but it's the concept that matters. And he'll go, hey, buddy. And the other guy who's high will go, hey. And the first guy who's high goes, hey. He's completely forgotten what he was mad about. It is what it is. It's a better fucking drug. Now, I still smoke weed, but I smoke weed probably, like, I would say 4 or 5 times a year. Like, I really am not a big smoker. I used to be, like I said, I used to be a full-blown stoner, smoke weed every day. But now, I just don't feel like I need it, Like, I got to a point where I was smoking less weed, like, just smoking every now and then. I just feel like I got it out of my system. And, like, when I first started smoking, man, I was getting high as fuck. Like, just my brain, like, exploding. Like, I was just high as fuck. Like, a lot. And I think I just needed to get it out of my system. And I was like, okay, this is cool. It's a nice drug, but I don't need this every day, all day. And I'm glad that I kind of got it out of my system, because I've been I was married, my first wife was a stoner. Like, she had to have weed every day, all day. She smoked weed every day, all day. It cost us, for one, like a shit ton of money. We were always broke because of her smoking weed. It's not good. Like, and you shouldn't have to have weed every day, all day to function, And that goes for alcohol too, man. Like, you shouldn't have to fucking drink every day, all day to function in life. Like, that's not good, buddy. But for some reason, when there's an alcoholic, everyone jumps their shit and goes, hey, that's not good. Change your life, go to rehab. Like, you're fucking up. But, like, weed's okay. Like, it's okay to smoke weed every day, all day. It's like, no. Like I said, it does have negative attributes, negative side effects. Like, my wife my first wife, like, I was a very lonely person because she would smoke weed every day, all day, and why is this dude creeping up on my car? You guys see that? Yeah, you can see this. Like, what the fuck? Maybe my bumper stickers, just checking them out or something. It's just weird. But yeah, I was a very lonely person at the time because she would smoke weed every day, all day, and just get fucked up straight out of bed, and she would sleep all the time. So I just ended up being alone, playing video games, reading. I just became a lonely person. Like, I would take her out on dates and shit, and she would get so high that she would literally be sleeping in the car. Like, so I'd just be driving, listening to music, and this was every day, all day thing, it fucking sucked. But it pissed off. I'm gonna try to keep this on the tracks, man. But it pissed off a lot of people because you're calling people who need weed for medical reasons bad people, And by the way, this isn't going to be some TDS rant. I don't have TDS. I voted for Trump in the past. It's actually going to be a good thing. I'm going to speak good about the guy. But I do have to bring up his past and statements he said of calling marijuana users bad people. There's people who need this, man. And there's people who... Okay, marijuana is a drug, yes. It is a drug. It makes you feel pleasure. It makes you physically feel good. It gives you the head high. It makes you mentally, makes you more spiritual. I feel like I'm closer to God when I smoke weed. To me, it's almost a sacred sacrament. I used to be a Rasta. I was a Rasta for a short period of time in my life. When I was going through a divorce, I was experimenting with spirituality, and I found Rastafari, which was pretty cool. But I believe, they believe, that weed is a sacrament. That it is just as holy as communion or something. And you're not supposed to just use it willy-nilly. Does that make sense? Because when you smoke it, it is a spiritual experience, at least for me. I don't know if it is for anyone else, but I feel like I'm getting closer to God when I smoke it. Yes, I'm using it for therapeutic reasons as far as mental therapy. If usually when I smoke it, I have to be having a real bad day. As far as depression or something, or mental illness. And I'll smoke, because I feel like it's a relief. But there's people who use it, because they have cancer. It helps cure cancer. What was it? Chong had prostate cancer and was literally shoving weed up his ass, and it cured his prostate cancer. Yeah, you all know. I mean, it's a medicine, dude. Yes, it is a drug, but it's a fucking medicine too. So he was calling all these sick, mentally ill sick people who need it for mental illness, and physically ill people who are dying with, cancer, or have pain problems. Or another good thing that marijuana is good for is people getting off of hard drugs. I would include alcohol as a hard drug. I've detoxed tons of times off of alcohol, and you can fucking die if you're not in the right medical area, man. My little brother struggles with alcohol, and he's actually had to stay with my oldest brother for a couple days here and there to detox a couple times. Basically just laying on the couch, riding it out. And my brother's a nurse, he's just keeping an eye on him, It can kill you. I busted my head in jail because I was detoxing off of alcohol, and what they should have done was put me in a medical unit or a cell by myself and kept someone checking in on me. That's what they should do. But no, they just throw you into fucking, and they ask you too. They said, are you going to detox while you're in here? And I told them, yeah. And they say, okay. So I had a seizure and fell off the top bunk, busted my fucking head. Almost died. I could have been paralyzed. I broke my fucking neck. Yeah, just ridiculous shit. That's a whole nother subject on how our jail systems and prison systems are just fucked, man. Like, you have someone who literally told you he was going to detox and might need medical attention, warning you, and you don't take care of him. Like, I should have sued the fuck out of BCDC, that jail. But needless to say, it pissed a lot of people off, Trump saying that. And here's the good news. He has flip-flopped. And you'll say, what, Abe? I thought flip-flopping was bad. I never said that. I'm actually pro flip-flopping, and I'll tell you why. Give me just a second. So, I have never been... You hear this a lot with people talking about politicians. Of like, oh, so-and-so's a flip-flopper. You know, I have never been against flip-flopping. I don't see flip-flopping as a bad thing. Now, I see it as a good thing, meaning that the person is getting older and wiser, and I believe you should never stop growing philosophically, mentally, spiritually, even your core beliefs. I think you should never stop growing until the day you die. One of the things that pissed me off so much is like my mother-in-law, as an example. I love her to death, but she is not willing to change her mind on her core beliefs. And I love to challenge people's core beliefs of like, why do you believe this? Well, why? You know? And she has gotten to the point in her life where she's literally in therapy. She's been in therapy for years. And she's asked me, like, when I've told her, like, my therapy sessions, I've been to therapy 3 times, and each time it has ended. And she's like, well, that's not good. And I'm like, no, that's really good. She's like, that's not good that they ended your therapy. I'm like, yes, Mom, that is good, because when you're in therapy, you are trying to reach a goal and change yourself as a person to reach that goal. That's not how therapy works. I'm like, no, that's exactly how therapy works. When you go to therapy, you set up goals and what you're trying to reach in your life. And they even do like check-ins every single time you go to therapy. They do check-ins in a little graph to show you where you are supposed to be mentally. And when you reach that goal and you stay on that graph long enough in that goal, and you have to be honest about these questions, then therapy is over. That's how it's supposed to work. But she is not willing to change. So she has been in therapy for like her whole life. She's not willing to, she doesn't listen to the therapist. She says, well, I'm set in my ways, like that's a good thing. And it's like, no, that's not good, Mom. You are never supposed to be just set in your ways. Like, especially if your ways are negative, with her, it's negative. And honestly, she has like some very negative views on shit. Like, you know, she doesn't like interracial marriage and shit. She's an older lady, like just stuff that is not good, like bad philosophies. And she has literally said, well, I'm an asshole, and like proud of it. And it's like, you should never be proud of being an asshole. Like, there's nothing wrong with being an asshole when you need to be, but you should always strive to be like assertive and stuff. Like, and as someone who's passive aggressive and who is like an asshole, like, I don't want to be an asshole. I'm trying to change that. I struggle with being assertive every day. the way I speak, the way I react to negativity problems in life, the way I have anger issues that I have to work on. I have to keep myself in check every day to be a functioning adult. And there's a lot of people that do. And I'm willing to admit it. I am a very weak person when it comes to my emotions and stuff like that. And that's something that I work on every day. I have to keep myself in check every fucking day. At least I admit it. But you are supposed to grow until the day you die. Change your beliefs. I don't see anything wrong with someone going, you know, because people will say, oh, well, you flip-flopped. You're a flip-flopper. You're a politician. You're not. People think just because you're a politician, you're supposed to be, I'm a Republican, I'm anti-abortion, I'm anti-marijuana. This is how I'm going to be my entire career till the day I die. I don't see flip-flopping as a bad thing. That person grew and said, oh, you know, I used to believe this and I used to say that, but I was wrong. RFK has done it with Second Amendment. He used to be super anti-gun. And that was brought up. And he's like, yeah, I've changed my beliefs. I'm not going to take guns away if I become president. Trump used to be anti-weed. Now he's pro-weed. To me, I think that flip-flopping should be celebrated if it's a good flip-flop. You know, like if Trump doubled down and said, oh, we should make every drug illegal, even tobacco and alcohol, people would flip the fuck out. Like, flip-flopping can be a good thing. So I get tired of hearing the whole, oh, he's a flip-flopper. Now, my concern with weed being legalized, because Trump was talked about, by the way, shout out to Sticks Hexenhammer 666. Go like and subscribe and to him. Tell him who sent you. Maybe he'll give me a shout out. He's a real cool dude. And his style is honestly a lot like mine. He's the one who brought this story to my attention that Trump is now pro-marijuana. He just puts on a camera, starts recording, talks, shuts it off. Kind of like Penguin Zero. This has been my style forever. This is an audio format. I know people are like, hey, if you edited your videos and added, you know, effects and all this, and I'm like, dude, I do podcasts. Like, this is technically an audio format. You're not even really supposed to be looking at me, like, but yeah, he's the one who brought this story to my attention. My concerns with marijuana legalization, and it goes back to the tobacco industry and the history of the tobacco industry. Now, these cigarettes that I smoke, I hand roll my cigarettes. I have a machine. They got filters. These are non-FSC papers, so they keep burning. They don't go out, which means they don't have a chemical in them that causes them to go out. I'm going to be straight up. Tobacco will kill you. Tobacco is not good for you. It does have some positive things, like it stimulates your brain to where it makes you more vocal and talkative, which is why all these talk radio people, you know, since the beginning of talk radio, they're all chain smokers, kind of like Art Bell. It stimulates your brain. It makes your neurons fire and shit. So it does have good side effects, but for the most part, it's a horrible drug. That being said, the cigarettes that I smoke are healthier than a pack of cigarettes that you buy on the shelf. And I can tell the difference, dude. When I haven't had a good pack of Marlboros for a long time, when I light up that Marlboro and take in those first couple drags, I'm like, oh. And my wife, she watches me every time I open up a pack of Marlboros. First of all, I'm like a kid in a candy store, tearing open, like, I feel like Charlie from Willy Wonka, you know, tearing open that chocolate bar, and he's just shoving it in his mouth because he never had a piece of candy because he was poor. So when I'm the same way with a pack of Marlboros. My wife, once in a blue moon, will throw me a pack of Marlboros, be like, "Here you go," and she just watches me because I'm like a little animal, like a little kid. You see that inner child come out. I'm like, oh, packing it, and dude, when I hit it, man, you can tell that they're putting something in cigarettes, man. And we know there's like hundreds of chemicals in there that are like cancerous. There's embalming fluid. There's fucking rat poison. Like, they're trying to fucking kill us, man. But the cigarettes that I smoke, and you can feel it, dude, when you take it, it's like, you just feel it. And you're like, this is why people love Marlboros. But I roll my own cigarettes. So I get a big bag of tobacco I get 4 cartons. Well, let's see. I'm going to tell you how much I pay for cigarettes. It's actually, if you're a smoker, you're going to be like, holy shit, that's what you pay for cigarettes? First of all, I live in Kentucky, so shit's cheaper here. Second off, I roll my own, so I buy 3 boxes of tubes. I buy a big bag of tobacco, and that cost me $35. And I get 3 cartons, 2, 4, 6, 600 cigarettes for $35. That's what I'm paying for cigarettes. So when people, if I ever bitch about money, I'm allowed to bitch about money. You know, because I'm not spending $6, $7 a pack. I'm getting 600 cigarettes for $35. So not only am I saving a shit ton of money, which is why I tell people when I see them and they're bitching about money and there's a cigarette in their hand, I'm like, that's your fault. And they hate to hear it, but I go, do you know how much I spend on cigarettes? And I tell them and they go, what? You know? Which the roller itself costs like $100. If you get an electric roller, that's maybe $150. I actually did a whole episode on cigarette rolling, and go check it out. I bought a new roller and I just kind of reviewed it and showed it, and was basically kind of like an infomercial of, if you're a smoker, you need to start rolling cigarettes. But the point I'm trying to make is my cigarettes, the blue bag that I buy, Kentucky's Best, is as natural as it gets. It does not have, I would say the only thing that it probably has is pesticides on it. Are they getting washed off? Doubtful. But it's literally probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 chemicals in and on the tobacco. When if you buy a pack of Marlboros like Philip Morris or anything like that, they are fucking putting hundreds of chemicals in that shit. So I'm not smoking embalming fluid. I'm not smoking, I'm not smoking hundreds of chemicals. I'm only smoking maybe like 1 or 2, maybe 3 chemicals. For the most part, there's like 0 chemicals in the tobacco I'm smoking. And it's labeled as pipe tobacco. So they're not putting the same shit they are. They're not taxing it the same. I found a loophole and it's amazing. So I'm not going to die like, I'm probably going to get lung cancer or throat cancer or something. I don't have some vision of immortality, but I'm not going to die as quickly as someone who smokes Marlboro Reds. Now, why am I bringing up the tobacco industry? Because I fear they're going to do the same thing with weed. If they completely legalize weed, because right now it's just kind of like the early stages of it's decriminalized in some places. It's not legal or decriminalized in some places. It's still all regional. If Trump gets in and legalizes the whole thing, are they going to start putting stuff in the marijuana like they did with cigarettes? To where that was the whole rant that I was making, is are they going to do the same thing that they did with cigarettes. Like when people were just smoking tobaccos and hand rolling and laying out a piece of paper, putting natural tobacco in, rolling it, licking it, and smoking it, filterless, it didn't have shit in it, man. It didn't have 100 different chemicals in it. Are they going to do that with weed once it's legalized? And I am terrified of the government. Ronald Reagan said the 9 most scary words you could ever hear is, I'm the government and I'm here to help. What are they going to put in this weed that you're buying? If they're gonna legalize it, they're gonna government regulate it, which means if they tell you to put shit in it, you're gonna have to put shit in it. I don't like that. And if it is legal, are we allowed to grow it just all natural? Because I mean, I'll grow weed. I don't even smoke weed that much, but I would grow it and sell it. I'd become a weed dealer. I need a little side job, you know? I'm always trying to find work. Even though I work a full-time job, I'm always looking for side jobs and shit. So what does this entail? I'm very fearful when the government involves itself. And people will go, well, you're being paranoid, you're being crazy. Well, I am Conspiracy Corner Podcast, so you knew I was crazy when you clicked on this podcast. And another example, they do it with water. Like they put fluoride in water. You know, I believe it's from the Nazis experimenting on the Jews, and they figured out, oh, it makes people more docile, makes them calmer, makes them less aggressive. Fluoride is like one of the main ingredients in Prozac. Like if you're drinking water from the tap and it's unfiltered, like you are getting your daily dose of Prozac, my friend. The government, they're putting shit in our food, they're putting shit in our water, they're putting shit in our air, they are putting shit in the cups that we drink out of, like plastic cups, microplastics. My testicles are full of fucking microplastics. We are being attacked on every front from the government of shit they are putting in everything. So it concerns me of what the fuck are they going to put in the weed if they legalize the weed. But that's my little rant for today. Trump is pro marijuana now, pro legalization. I figured I'd bring that all to y'all's attention. I think it's going to help him with votes. And in my opinion, he is the lesser of two evils. Between Kamala and Trump, he is the lesser of two evils. I'm excited that he's pro legalization, but I have my concerns. I just want it to be decriminalized. I'm actually just pro decriminalization. At the end of the day, just decriminalize it. I don't need it to be fully legalized. Just decriminalize it. It is the least harmful of all drugs, and it's medicine in most cases. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. What do you think about Trump being pro weed now? Hit me up in the comments. Love y'all. Y'all have a good day.